everybody. Welcome to Just Upright. Thank you for joining me today. I have a very special guest. We turned the table around. It's time for me to interview him. He interviewed me before. So, my name is Ginaline Ruder. I go by Jing like Jingle Bells. I'm a physical therapist currently practicing here in St. Louis, Missouri. I work as a peer PRN, and I also wrote three books. We're going to talk about those books later. For now, let's just go straight, dive into the interview. I'm very excited, guys. This is Dr. Mike Chua, and I forget all the letters behind his names. He will tell you about it, but he is awesome. He's one of the strong force behind the therapy world right now. You know what's happening, shaking around the big influencers in the therapy world. So he always interview people in different arena in the therapy world. He always give them the platform to talk about themselves. But now it is our turn to get to know who is Mike Chua and what are the things he's doing and how can we be inspired to reach for a greater heights like what he's doing. All right. Hi, Mike.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me, Jing. I really, really appreciate you for doing this. And I really applaud you for leveling up and pushing yourself to the next level and then starting this podcast and starting this show. Well, first of all, my first question is, are we doing this in a video or are also we doing it just on audio or both?
Both.
All right. So they can literally see me too. Okay.
Yep.
That is awesome. Well, first of all, thank you very much again, ladies and gentlemen, whoever you are watching. So if you are watching on the live or on the replay, please do comment live or replay in Jing's show, on her podcast, on her YouTube video. So first of all, thank you again.
Sure.
Thank you, Jing, for doing this. And let me reintroduce myself. My name is Dr. Mike Chua. I'm a physical therapist by profession, but my quick avatar is basically I help dementia caregivers bring out the best in them by offering my books, ebooks, live and online courses, and that's what I basically do. And that's where all my stuff evolve in our profession. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you also own some, business on the side, right?
Yes, Jing. We run a multifaceted what you call this therapy company. It's not really big, but we have different sources of income. So we have that Tennessee Therapy Outsource, wherein we provide therapy services for different home health agencies. If you want to learn how to start your own contract company, you can reach out to me. I can teach you how to do that. And we also have what the other company called Premier Physical Therapy and Wellness, wherein we provide outpatient therapy services and wellness services, and wherein we bill Medicare Part B. Medicare Part B. So there are two types of actually three, under Medicare. First is the Medicare Part A, which is the one that we do, the Tennessee Therapy Outsource. And the other one is the outpatient Part B, wherein we also provide that. And now we are trying to open up and partner up with another company called Autonomy. We've got three different pathways, so different sources of income, because you cannot just depend on one source of income.
Right.
You need to have, at least a diverse source of income, so you can at least control your future.
So how did you get into this, Mike? Were you a full-time employee before?
When I came in here, I was on a work visa and I had to be a full-time employee. My hands were tied.
Okay. So what year did you decide that you're going to do more than a full-time job? And this will be like an eye-opener for people who think that they will just be working for other company all their life. Because that's how we, most of us are brought up that way, that we get to school, get a nice degree, and land for a great job, and that's it. We were not actually brought up, most of us, to be an entrepreneur.
So basically, when you're an employee, you're an employee, right? And that's what we grew up in the Philippines. That's what we were trained to do in the Philippines. Go to college, get a job, and retire with that job, right? And then And then when you're in that job, you get tired, you get burned out, and you start going to, start is opening up your business, like being a self-employed. You can open up your own clinic, and just being a single proprietor or sole proprietor there. And then from there, obviously, you get burned out too, right? You get burned out too. You're doing everything, and then you start hiring people. Start hiring a therapist, your assistant. That becomes you as a business owner. And then once you become a business owner, you're like, oh, I think I'm burning out as a business owner. I think I just have to invest my money. That's how I invest my money. And then once you become your the investor, that's when the passive income comes in. So that's basically the four quadrants of being an employee. So
Okay, so I've been thinking about this, Mike, to the other day. To be honest with you, because I just like you, I was a full time, 40-hour a week because of the contract with the agency, and that's the normal full time employee does 32 to 40 hours a week, and then I was blessed enough to be able to be just a pure PRN like more than 3.5 years ago, and it's always there's something just like what you said. You get not really maybe burnout, but there's got to be something more than this. You always have to. I always say that the only choice we have is either to move forward or upward. I think we should have a mindset that we should not settle for what we have right now. There's always something better that we can achieve. And I've been reading the book. Thank you for the book. I love the book of Dan Miller, The
you're welcome.
48 Days.
Shout out to you, Coach
Yeah,
Dan Miller.
yeah, Dan Miller. And it's very inspirational.
I just want to reiterate what you said about moving on and pushing yourself to the next level. It's not that you are not satisfied with your life. So
Mhm.
if you are watching, if you are a Filipino right now, Filipino physical therapist, it's not that you're satisfied with your life right now. It's all about pushing yourself to the next level. And even God Himself, He
Mhm.
asked us, He asked us to actually believe in ourselves and invest in ourselves. I mean,
Mhm.
imagine that. I don't know if you remember that story in the Bible called the story of those
The
three,
talents.
yeah, the three people, the talents.
Mm-hmm.
God gave us these talents here, and that first guy, he just put it and dig it in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. The second one, he invested it, and then actually how much he tripled it or whatever. And the third one, quadrupled it or whatever. And same thing with our talents as therapists. He gave us these talents to be a therapist. He didn't just give you the opportunity to pass the physical therapy board exam there in the Philippines. He didn't just give you the chance to go here in the States. He
Mm-hmm.
gave you that opportunity to be the best that you can be. And it's not because you're not contented with your current situation. It's all about your talent and giving out to other people. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember this. I remember I had a boss in United Laboratories. His name is Mon Villagracia. And he asked me, Michael, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And I told him, because I was complacent that time, typical new grad, and I was working as a pharmaceutical rep. And I said, well, I see myself 5 years from now still being a medical representative. I'm contented with my life. And I thought it was a good answer because, us Filipinos, we're like, that humble type of person. We're like, oh, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm contented. We're like always like that. And you know what he told me? He told me, Michael, don't sell for less. You were made for more. You
Mm-hmm.
were actually made for greatness. And during that time, he told me that, and deep inside myself, oh gosh, I'm not going to be like that. I'm going to be contented with what I have. Do you think if you have a family right now, do you want your family just to be contented in that situation in back home? No, you still want the best for them. I
Mm-hmm.
want the best for my kids. I want the best for my wife. I
Yeah.
want them to experience Disneyland.
Right.
I want them to experience Disney World, and I want the
Mm-hmm.
best for them. The same thing with God.
Mm-hmm.
He wants the best for us. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you're watching and listening right now, and there's greatness in you. All you need to do is just tap into that passion, tap into that greatness in you, and then move on to it, find that, and then eventually the profit will follow.
Right.
And that's where the book comes in, the passion to profit. The passion to profit. So if you're a physical therapist in the Philippines right now, watching and listening on this podcast or in this replay, Jing and I are gonna launch the Filipino PT's Pathway to US this coming May 18. Am I correct, Jing?
No, it's gonna be 22nd, I think. May
May
22nd.
22nd. Okay, May 22nd. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna put down the link below because we're gonna give you Jing's ebook, The Filipinos PT Pathways to US. I'm gonna give you the book called Passion to Profit, and it's just gonna be awesome. It's just gonna be great, and we want you to learn from us
Mm-hmm.
because you cannot do this on your own. I wasn't able to do this on my own. If you're going to watch all my videos on my website at drmikechua.com, I wasn't able to do it on my own. And I'm sure Jing could attest to this. Jing wasn't able to do this on her own.
Mm-hmm.
She did this probably with her husband, did this with her family, did this with somebody who mentored her. And now is the time for me and Jing to mentor you, ladies and gentlemen, people who are there in the Philippines, or even, people who are in the States. If you want to join our webinar, we're going to have this webinar called a Filipino PT Pathway to US. It's just going to be a quick webinar, I think like 2 or 3 hours of teaching you how
Mm-hmm.
to be the best that you can be, how to come here in the States, and just finding that proper way. And yes, there is a lot of what you call this pushback right now because of the COVID,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. But there are still ways. There are still people actually winning. Remember, in the middle of crisis, in the middle of uncertainty, lies opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like a tornado, or in the middle of the storm. In the middle of that storm, there's peace and there's the opportunity there. So let's find that opportunity right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching. And then we'll teach you how to find that opportunity in this crisis.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I keep on talking, Jing. Go ahead.
So what with Mike was saying, just going to just like wrap my mind around it. We are grateful for this country because in this country we are given so many options to actually soar higher, and you're given like all the tools and instruments for you to be better. It's not like the culture is dictating you to be like, oh, you're just an employee for a lifetime. You don't have much opportunity, in this lifetime. So when you go to the US, that's why they say this is a country of opportunity, because really it's up to you how you're going to level yourself up, because there are so many instruments around you, like Facebook and whatever groups you belong to. And what I noticed with Mike actually is it's a very like opposite to the Filipino culture. We have a Filipino culture like a crab mentality. We're pulling someone else down. We don't want them to succeed. Mike actually is like a personified alternate version of that, is that he's helping people to level up and showing people how to be the alternate ways for you to live your life, not just in the clinical setting, but also the side gigs and side hustles. He's actually the one who pushed me off the cliff. I always say that in a good way, to write my book, because it's been a lifelong dream for me to write books. And I was hesitant, and I was like, maybe you can relate to that, that you're thinking, who am I to write book? Who am I? Am I enough? Are my experiences enough to write any book? But, you have a unique practice, a unique experience, unique personality, and whatever Mike said this, and it lingers in my mind. Whatever that will not make you sleep at night, what keeps you up at night about writing book, whatever topic is that, it's in your heart, and you have to just go for it. You know, Mike has this awesome groups like what's that? My alternative rehabilitation career group. It's long,
It's
so
called
I
alternative.
ACG is the short version of that. So yeah,
Yep.
so he posts a lot of, good information. Him and Emma posting a lot of great information, tapping with the big influencers in the therapy world. But to tell you honestly, Mike, when I first joined the group, I was overwhelmed because I was like, oh my God, with all these options, I really don't know what to do. So what I did is I look at all the options. I took a break from the group, from the Facebook, and just really find time to really what decide what I really want to do. So you can be pulled in so many different directions, but you have to retrieve and really find who you are and what you really want to do, because there are so many options other than the clinical setting.
I wanted to invite everyone to our actual webinar, me and Jing's webinar called the Filipino PT Pathways to the US, because, if we are targeting, we're helping out other therapists here in the States be the best that they can be. Why not our own fellow countrymen?
So yeah, that webinar, going to talk about, we're going to share about our stories, the struggles. Mike and I think we have both like 9 years. It was 9 years for me, Mike. Uh, the struggle was real to go here to the US. And it took me 9 long years before I finally got the visa to be able to work here,
You
and
know what? You mentioned that.
yeah.
Since you mentioned that, I graduated 1999. I never got here, I think, until 2011.
Yeah, so we really understand, if you're having difficulty coming here, and what are the step-by-step procedure so that you're not gonna waste your money, save you from the headaches, because for me, I did not know what to do, what is the first thing to do, the second, the third, and then my credentialing expired. I have to pay another like $500 or more to renew that. I had to take another TOEFL, test of English, as a foreign language. So there was so many headaches, and I cannot even have a total amount of I spent all those 9 years just to get here. So that is the main theme of the webinar that we're going to do. What are the practical tips that we can give you to save you from the headache? And what is like the ideal chronological order so that you can have a good timing and your documents will not expire before you're really able to use it for going here.
And of course, it's gonna be just us Filipino therapists. I can talk Tagalog. It's gonna be easier. I've been doing webinar almost every day, and I speak English all the time. If
Yeah.
it's gonna be just as Filipino therapists back home, makapagsalita tayo ng Tagalog easier, madali, di ba?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can relate to that because here where I live, it's actually there's less Filipino here. Not like in California, New York, or New Jersey. My whole world is English. Like in at work, I can see maybe one or two Filipinos, like once in a blue moon. So
Mhm.
everything is English. My husband is American. My kids don't really speak Tagalog. It's a very few, Tagalog words, Filipino words.
Hey, you know what? What we can do, obviously, after the webinar, we're gonna create a private Facebook group for that, right?
Mhm.
And if you are watching, if you join that webinar, that workshop, or whatever we call it, we can teach you. We can teach you ESL there and teach you how to speak English. We're just gonna push you to the next level. Basically, we're gonna teach you how to write your own book. Because if we teach you how to write your own book, my fellow Filipino PTs there, guess what? That will be your own resume. If one company fired you, and if you have your own book, guess what? They're going to hire you immediately if you have your own book. You know, we want Filipino PTs pushing up and leveling up. I've I've mentored a lot of American PTs, American OTs, and I want to help my fellow Filipinos push their self to the next level. And we're not the typical crab mentality, like what Jing said. We're not the typical crab mentality type of Filipinos. We're here to help you and bring out the best in you. And if I see something like that, we remove them in my group. So basically, I just want you to be a winner. We want you to be the best that you can be. And that will, when somebody fires you and remove your contract, guess what? You got a book. You can apply easily. When I'm applying for a job or a contract, I don't bring a resume.
You bring
I
a
bring a
book.
copy of my books and I
Mm-hmm.
give it to those people who's interviewing me. And guess what? They'll be like, oh gosh. So if you really want to join and be the best that you can be, Filipino PTs back home in the Philippines, come and join that webinar. It's going to be awesome. Jing's going to host it. I'm going to host it. And we're just going to push you to your next level and just be the best that you can be. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mike, I've been thinking about it. I haven't gotten my hand on it, but I've been thinking of the phrases that we have, like in the Philippines, that will it's just like mind-boggling for Americans. Like when we say CR, they don't know what CR is.
Mm-hmm.
So restroom. So maybe we can like jot down some of those words
Yeah.
that
Those phrases. Yeah.
yeah, rubber shoes. You know what
Mm-hmm.
rubber shoes in the Philippines, but they don't know what rubber shoes here is. It's
Yeah.
tennis shoes. You cannot
Mm-hmm.
call it rubber shoes. It's
Yeah,
tennis shoes.
you could probably make a PDF like here are the most common phrases that Americans uses instead of what we use. So
Right,
obviously you have to change how you talk. You have to
right.
change.
How you
When you're in Rome, do what the Romans do,
right.
right? When you're in the U.S., do what the U.S. Americans do. So that's what we're gonna teach you in that webinar. All right,
Okay.
thank you, Jing.
All right, Mike. Parting words.
All
So
right. Okay, normally parting words before I let you go. Always remember the word fast. FAST, fast. Why? Because we want you to take action fast. Stop dilly dallying. Stop slowing down because you need to do things fast. I'm not telling you to think abruptly, but take action fast. FAST. Letter F. Find friends that will push you to your next level because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So whoever you're hang out with, guess what? You're going to be like that. If you're hang out with awesome people, guess what? You're going to be awesome. If you're hang out with people who are actually pulling you down, guess what? You're going to be down with them. So find friends that will push you to your next level. Letter A, you got to learn how to take action. Most of us Filipinos, we are on that mentality of I'm going to analyze it first. I'm going to analyze it first before I take action. Stop analyzing. Stop that what you call analysis paralysis. It doesn't have to be perfect. Do you think I speak perfect English? I don't even know what I'm talking about. My daughter last night was just making fun of my blog. And she was like, Daddy, that's the wrong grammar there. I'm like, I don't care. I just take action. Do you think my books are all grammatically correct? I have 5 published books. Do you think those are all grammatically correct? No, we're Filipinos. I don't know what the correct grammar is. So just take action. Imperfect action beats perfect in action.
mhm.
All right. So take action by signing up in Jink's webinar this coming next few weeks. Sign up on her. We're gonna put the link on this YouTube channel or podcast. She's gonna put that webinar link, and then just take action, guys. And it's very very affordable. I mean, so affordable. It's just like
Delicious.
Starbucks coffee is probably like much more expensive than this webinar. All right, so take action. What's the next letter? Letter S. Shoot for the moon because if you keep shooting for the moon and you miss it, you're going to be eventually landing with the stars. When you land with the stars, you're landing with Jing. You know what? Jing was actually my instructor in that review center. I was looking up to her.
Mm.
I looked up to her. She was like my what you call this my instructor. And I looked up to her. Guess what? I landed up with her. I mean, who would have thought I would be partnering up with Jing as a co-host or whatever? She was just on top of this
No.
pedestal. I was just here. She was just there. She's there up there. I'm here. Imagine that. Now I think I'm
Mm,
here. I'm here. I'm
yeah.
closer now, right? So keep shooting for the moon because you're going to be landing with the stars. And it doesn't matter. You're going to fail, ladies and gentlemen. I failed the NPTE. Guess what? I failed a lot of tests. I've been rejected with visa. I don't know how many times I got rejected the visa. And it doesn't matter how many times you failed or fallen or got sick. It's how many times you get up and do this all over again, ladies and gentlemen. Last but not the least, letter T. You know what? Not time out, but teach it. Why? Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, just like what Jing is doing, she's teaching us. She's going to teach us how to come here in the States. You know, she's going to teach us because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, you're going to understand it more. And thank you very much, Jing. Those are my parting words. I appreciate you.
Yay! Thank you, Mr. Dr. Mike Chua. Thank you so
All
much
right.
for gracing us with your time. And we'll see you at our webinar. We really look forward to talking with you guys and showing you the way. It is our heart's desire to really give light on how to navigate those very daunting tasks of going here to the US. So we'll be seeing then. It's May 22nd, and I'm going to put the link down below this YouTube channel and with the link on the podcast as well. So thank you again, Dr. Mike. God bless. Stay well. Stay looking good. See you on the webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check out my books. They are available at Amazon.com. The first book that I wrote is the Practical Tips for Therapists Before Migrating or Starting their US Practice. And then the second book that I wrote is The PT Path to US. Then this third book is Just Upright Practical Tips to Improve Balance, Posture, and Decrease Fall Risk. It has great reviews at Amazon. They are available both Kindle and paperback copies. So the link is below. Again, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button for the latest videos in this channel. Stay blessed.